to the Not On My Watch show. I'm Dr. Baruch, and you are in store for a really exciting show as we are bringing to you information always that you don't find just in the general public, exposing you to people and also exposing people to you in the sense that we're bringing this new audience to a population of people that we bring into the studio, and we're also bringing a population of people to this audience. So we're bringing it on both ends. And again, the Not On My Watch show, the idea behind it is that there's a lot of information that doesn't get shared, in the mainstream. There's a lot of stuff that we need to know. There's a lot of maybe information that's coded and not necessarily as obvious. And now we're having the opportunity to be able to share this information with you because we are controlling the content here at eLife Media. We are in control of the content, and that's the objective and purpose of what it is that we're doing. We wanted to control the content so that we wouldn't have to be subject to somebody else determining what makes it in and what gets out and how does it look when it gets out and what does it look like when it gets in, Now, we want to have that control. So today we are blessed to have in our studio Brother Asani. Brother Asani, what's happening, my brother?
How you doing, Doc? Appreciate the chance to come out and share with the people. Hello, audience. Peace, brothers and sisters.
Yes, sir. For those of us who don't know who you are, Brother Asani, give us a brief, a bio. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do?
That's funny that you ask who I am, because I believe words have meaning. And the meaning of my name means literally a truth-seeking servant of God and deliverer of my people, like Moses. My last name is Musa, which is a derivative of Moses. So that is who I am, and that's how I like people to be introduced, so you know who I am, not just meaningless words.
Right. And we're going to get into those words and the meanings of words and letters and concepts and ideas and vibrations and frequencies in this piece. Where you from, brother?
I'm originally from the motherland of Red Bank, New Jersey.
Red Bank, New Jersey, motherland.
Home of Count Basie.
There it is. Red Bank, New Jersey. That's what's up. Where's Red Bank near?
Red Bank is right at the start of the New Jersey shore. It's probably about 30 minutes outside of Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
It's where everybody, when they make it in New York, they move to New Jersey.
Okay.
That's the truth, because we have a slightly different level of lifestyle there.
Okay. All right. That's what's up. And what brought you down here?
Well, I always think that I was led down here for particular reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I came down, I was seeking my father after being away from him for 33 years.
Right.
And I came down and went into a Papa John's one day, and I was looking at one of my relatives. And I'm heavy into genealogy and family research.
Okay.
So I'm looking at a relative who 2 years later walked out of my aunt's, which would be my aunt's house. And I said, brother, I've seen you. I've seen the reflection. We looked alike. But here you are, flesh and blood family.
Mm.
So I believe I was led here for a purpose, as in every place that I'm led to in life.
That's what's up. And that was your father?
It was my father's sister's son who I met.
Oh, okay.
And when I met my father, the first thing he said is, I have two sisters in the Washington, D.C. area, and they came and knocked down my door, and answers and completion were added back into my life.
That's what's up. And how long was that? We have folk that we've had on the air before that talk about their time away from their father and running back into their father. How long were you away from your father before you were reintroduced?
Well, the funny thing is, it was 1978. I got a phone call from my mother and said, somebody's coming over to the house to see you, and it's your father. And I said, okay. You never called me when Dad came over before.
Right.
But the dad I knew was my stepfather, so big shout out to Edgar Dean Mansell, who was that man in my life.
Yeah.
But so I met my father briefly when I was 7 years old, just about to turn 8.
Okay.
And he was in the military. He had to ship back out. But it wasn't necessarily him, that stayed out of my life, is that we moved around so much with a single mom. It wasn't so easy to stay up with us.
Mm-hmm.
But now, my father and my dad are back in my life.
That's what's up.
Getting the blessings of waiting and knowing the purpose. And I was told in 1978, brother, that the exact year when I would run back into my father when I was 33 years old came to pass in Augusta, Georgia.
Okay.
That many years ago. That was last year. I'm only 34 now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up. Okay. I didn't want to question you on there. I was going to let that go.
I spray paint my hair gray.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I do it every morning, just to ward off the flies.
Yeah, there you go.
Griot, historian. Tell us, what do you do in the space of being a griot and a historian?
Well, when I was young,
come on now,
my
you're still
grandmothers
young,
took me
34.
Under their wings. They would show me family trees, family Bibles. They would tell me the history.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a great-grandmother, Maydee Mansell, as it was, who told me about a story of a woman coming on a boat to South Carolina. And the person had remembered the sign and made it out as Haiti. But actually their destination was from Barbados upon further research.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how that portion, and it was a Latimer, a state senator, that made a purchase order for those people to be brought from South Carolina. But after all of that knowledge and information, that was my stepfather's side of the family. But that's still my family. You can't give my grandmother back.
Right.
Because she was, she reared me. That's who I went to.
Yeah.
But I found out a little something different about each one of my grandmothers. They each had a way of approaching history. So her daughter-in-law always kept family pictures. So I learned those pictures in those books where I noticed that there was 5 and 6 generations from my grandmother in the same picture.
Wow.
So I would match up the stories, I would match up the pictures with actual documents when the technology came. Mm-hmm. So it was all on the path to verify my family's place in history, not just the stuff that was fed to you in the classroom. I mean, all due respect to Dr. King, but what my family didn't know and may not necessarily know is that our great-grandmother attended Dr. King's church. Our great-grandmother lived right around the corner from Miss Rosa Park and took the same bus. See, so my point is to plot our family history and where our people were and what contributions they made and make it real to the young people coming behind me so they know their life has value. And by virtue of their God-given name, they can fulfill their purpose by knowing who they are and what their purpose is here. And when you know why you're here, you know what to do.
That's what's up.
Because you're guided. And there's a word, if I may, since we're not being censored. Some people use the word F-U-C-K, and you know what that means.
Right.
Well, we know what we use it for, but it actually is an acronym of forbidden, unauthorized consent of the king. You didn't have authorization to do something. And when you're not following the king or the creator or whatever you want to address, the reason for us being here and where you get these messages from, when you don't have authorization, you walk around and you wonder, if I may, Doc, why your life is so fucked up. See, because you're not following the commands and you're not following your purpose. Therefore, you're off track. But knowing the creator kind of lets you and pushes you back in bounds, you try to do certain things you're not supposed to do, and you wind up on eLife Media, sitting next to my brother, Dr. Baruch. And so you just got to follow your God purpose and let it lead you. We were talking earlier about people not being perfect. They want to be seen doing things because they want people to share their experience. And they may be in a certain state now. I'm not in the state of perfection, but I came to everlasting life because I want to be here as long as I can. So I came to come to everlasting life, for example, because I want to be healed. It's not necessarily what I eat. So I'm not in the position now to say I'm perfect. None of us are. But when I seek everlasting life, why wouldn't I eat there?
That's what's up. That's what's up. Talking to Brother Asani. I was going to call you Ansa. Brother Asani.
Everybody's renaming me.
And you now have gotten into the entertainment industry. I've heard you speak on it, and you and I have spoke on it briefly. You know, what are you doing in that space?
Well, actually, I'm fourth generation entertainment. You know, I have people that have come before me. Going back, I had an uncle that was a concert promoter.
Mm-hmm.
He started back with Russell Simmons and DJ Run. Imagine that.
Right.
And Russell was Curtis Blow's manager, one of my uncle's close friends.
Mm.
You know, I had people way back in the 30s, uncles that were in show business, particularly one. Uncle Danny Owens was my grandmother's brother. Now, if you ever heard of the Four Tunes, they have one song called Sentimental Reasons. That is the most sampled and redone song in history. And that was done by my uncle's group. Mm. So I'm the result of information being passed down. By the way, if I could shout out my mentors in this game, you know, you have a William or Bill Cherry, who I used to be on Black Expo USA tour.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, he took me in, young college guy, and he wanted to know what I had to say. And he gave me guidance. And also there was a lady, Salah Shabazz, who wrote Little Known Black History Facts for Tom Joyner. And they had a book out through McDonald's. Took me under my wing. But one day I came into the expo, and they both looked at me and said, "What are you doing here? Can't go back to school because I got some loans in default." They looked at me and said, "Oh, you're going back to school." "But my loans are in default." "Oh, you're going back to school." When I got to the school, in short, the loans were out of default, and my tuition was paid. So respect to those people that had an influence on me and told me what they know, which I in turn passed on information. Bill Cherry was Richard Pryor's vice president of his company. Bill Cherry is the person that started out the Black Promoters Association. So I was at the feet being fed information by people placed in my life for a purpose. So therefore, I made it my mission to do the same thing. Each one teach one, in other words.
Right. That's what's up. And what does that have you doing now in the entertainment space?
Well, I'm always looking at what's happening at the top of the game and what's happening for the, I'll call the real artists.
Okay.
So what I did was take my company, All Star Entertainment Group, and merged it with some other brothers in the finance business to give me that leverage that some of the so-called top dogs do have in the business. But I became an advocate for the film industry, independent filmmakers, independent record label owners, and I wanted to get in a position where I could leverage and give us some clout when it comes down to dollars in and outside of Hollywood, where our people can have their own platforms and financial backing to compete in the marketplace so we can service the needs of our people and the wants of our people instead of having it dictated and manipulated. I almost went into Farrakhan right there. But it is important that we have some control over our creativity and what's being fed to our audiences, mainly our children, because they are under attack by the stuff that they see in the media, by the computers and those video games. So it's time to take a change and introduce meaningful information to our generations to come. And I hope to help those companies and businesses and individuals that aim to do so by giving them, one, some consultations business-wise on how to survive once you enter business. A lot of people don't know business. They think because they talk on the phone at late hours or they have meetings in restaurants, that's business.
Right.
But it's time for our people to be financially literate in business and operate for the best interests of our people so we move forward instead of frequenting stuff in our communities. I'll just point it out, nail salon, okay. The wrong restaurants that fry their food, fry their rice, fry their vegetables. But when you go in the neighborhood and when you don't see people on the other side of the counter looking like you and operating for you and for your best interest in employing your people from the neighborhood, man, you should walk out and you should run them out of your community because they have no interest. So they take that pie and they run back and they cut it up in their own community.
Well, you talk about, supporting those businesses that are in our community, and I think that's a big issue, especially now with all that's taking place in America. What is your strategy? How do we go about running out a business? How do we go about supporting a business not just by saying, okay, I'm going to spend my money here, but how do we take this beyond the bounds of just what you or I can do, that we expand this and build this to a movement?
Well, I think a movement starts from within the home. You know, sometimes we have these false idols and heroes for children when the real heroes might try to open up a business. So we need to train our children to be in business for themselves and not grow up and continue to be consumers. We got to break that cycle first.
Right.
See, so when a young person says, I want to be a doctor, well, we need a doctor in the community. We need an accountant in the community. We need people to stay so they can influence others to be of service. We need food in the community.
Right.
So there should be no shame for somebody to say, I want to be a farmer.
Right.
Supply for my own people and not have a greedy concept of shipping stuff halfway around the world. Meanwhile, your family is starving.
That's it. That's it.
You know, so strategy begins in yourself, in your own home before you run out trying to save the world. But then it transfers to your extended family and friends. And you get together. I like to call it a contingency plan because we can't continue on the path walking blind in a place where we don't see our people controlling policies and legislation in our favor. The fact is, we need to build our communities to be independent. So watch out now. So
independent of who?
Independent of anybody that doesn't have their best interest in mind.
Okay.
So we need our own country. Let me just keep it clear. If I don't get a chance to say it in my lifetime, I said it now. We need our own. We need a president of our own instead of running after Hillary and Donald Trump.
So who are we?
Who are we? Well, I can know as far as we, I'm speaking of my family.
Okay.
So, in fact, what's the funny thing is I just got something back from Ancestry.com.
Oh, yeah.
And it showed me fictitious facts, but funny just the same. But it showed me people that share my DNA throughout the country. So 99 pages deep, showing relatives who I never met.
Sure.
So it's about identifying your family and being your own Noah. And even some family members, they're not going to make it above the ark.
Right.
They're not going to make it aboard the ark.
There we go.
But you got to save those that are spiritually and mentally aware that danger exists, because some are too drunk and too consumed with what they settle for besides the country and the place of their own. That's the absolute. But some people are too scared to speak up. We talk about Black Lives Matter. You can't tell somebody Black Lives Matter who doesn't care about Black lives. But I appreciate the efforts of the brothers and sisters and what they do, and I'm not dismissing what they're saying. But when you're out on the country road and you ask that cop, does the Black Life matter to you? He'll show you. Forsyth County, Georgia.
Right.
Remember me.
Yep.
So,
that's what's up, brother. That's what's up. And I think it's important as we start having the or taking the power into our hands, that we don't fall victim to what we've done many times in the past, whereas we've allowed a system or a person that doesn't look out for our best interests to define what our movement is. So, you know, what do we need to get out of this Black Lives Matter movement?
Well, what I hope, what has gotten, I'm making up words now, is that the message gets through to that person or peoples who Black lives don't matter to, you know, if that is possible.
Right.
But Black people recognizing that Black Lives Matter is a huge step in the right direction. But to what extent? Do we still settle for? Do we still draw the limit as that we have to continue to live amongst those that have a proven track record? Why are they killing our brothers in the street? The warrior class is under attack once again. That's what they did when they brought the ships over to Africa. They killed the warriors, the fathers and the older brothers and the uncles.
Right.
And they took the women and children and brought them to different shores, including this one. So we have to recognize those that Black Lives Matter don't matter to, they have an agenda. They're after every brother. That's why they're afraid of us, because there's something that we don't know that they know. the power that we have, the warrior class of black men. That's who I'm talking to now.
Mm-hmm.
You have power. You have been attacked. You have been taught to be irresponsible and, I'm not going to say no names, but you have taught to deny your responsibility as a father, as a member of the family. So please do me a favor. Don't watch Jerry. Don't watch Maury.
Mm-hmm.
Don't watch anything that's negative. Don't watch the videos that portray you in a negative manner, because there are some good brothers out there about their business. And for all the brothers that are not about their business, we still love you. We want you to come back and do the right thing, because we need you, because war has been declared on our families, and we are the protectors. So to all my brothers wearing blue and red, what potential you have if you know your true enemy is not your brother. Be protectors of your community. Drug dealers, I can't even say that on air, but you're poisoning your own people. You're poisoning your own people. Don't do that. But I can't say the rest.
Well, when you diagnose, and you're a genealogist, a griot, a historian, you've looked at this situation. When you diagnose what the ills are that are affecting our people, what's going on? Because there was a time when our community was tight. There was a time when we had family. There was a time when we weren't predators in our own community. What's going on that's put us at this point now?
Well, it's funny that you say that. I had a conversation the other day where I said, when I'm driving my car and those lights come on in that mirror, I'm thinking about everything I ever did, because I don't want a confrontation with a police officer, black, yellow, red, white, purple, because they have orders. I understand they have orders. They have quotas to meet. Did you know the money that a judge fines you, some of that money is kicked back to police officer? Okay. Now, when I'm walking through a community, when I'm getting off the subway, PATH train, metro, what is it called here? I can't think
Subway,
about it.
metro.
There you go. It's not the cops that I'm looking for. Sometimes I'm in worse fear of my own brother, and that's a problem. That's a problem. So I can only imagine how people from outside the community feel. And I'm not saying everybody is innocent and pure and wasn't doing anything, but some of us or some of our people in the community are predators. But everybody doesn't need to suffer for the sins of some. So we got to take time. When I said start with your family, maybe that thug is in your family, okay? Maybe that stick-up person is in your family. So I'm starting with my family. I got to educate my family, my children, my nieces and nephews, their children, my extended family. That's where I'm the griot, because I keep stories. Somehow I got an amazing memory. I can remember back to I was 1.5 years old. See? And things that were said to me. So that's when I tell the stories of those that are around that were born in the 1800s. Word for word. Meanwhile, it doesn't care. It doesn't matter. Or maybe somebody didn't have the patience to talk to their grandmother in the kitchen for hours on end to listen to her and record that and write it down. And those family albums I mentioned earlier, I remembered who was in the picture. So when my grandmother, Mildred, wasn't able to remember those pictures, I could sit there with her and go, "My grandma, that's so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. That's your mother, that's your grandmother, that's your great-grandmother sitting there with you." So without that family history is lost. I just decided to record it to make a difference, to pass it on. Because some of those stories are important, with my ancestors being told to get out of town by sunrise when they were in South Carolina, and the sharecropper didn't get the same price for their goods as the white man standing in front of them. And some of them men didn't go out like that. They had some words for them white brothers. Not brothers of mine, but you know what I mean. So get out of town. Don't let the sun catch you here. That's how my family came to New Jersey, So having the ability to tell a story that somebody that may have been in a similar situation to a young cat growing up who think he know it all. Nah, your grandfather been there. Your great grandfather been there. And some of us walked in this country. So that's the power of looking into your history and matching it up. Not taking a general consensus and the ideal heroes given to you. Sure. Respect to Frederick Douglass, respect to Martin Luther King and Brother Malcolm.
Right.
But those are not your stories. That's
Right.
their stories. We appreciate their contributions to overall history, but where was your grandfather and your grandmother and mother and father during these times? And look through their eyes to see their experiences of what they went through, and now look at the new generation here and what they're going through and experiences. You got to prepare your children for what's been and what's to come.
That's what's up. We're right here on the Not On My Watch show here on the E-Life Media Network. We're talking to Brother Asani, who's sharing with us his life experiences, his wisdom, and his vision for what it is that we need to do in our community. We're going to take a brief and momentary station break. We're going to be right back in just a minute with more of the Not On My Watch show. You all stay tuned. right, we are back up on the Not On My Watch show. Again, this is the show where we do everything we can to bring to the attention of you, the audience, a people and accomplishments, information. You know, some information is real cutting edge. For those of you who missed it, last week we had Brother Professor Griff on as he was sharing with us the trials and tribulations that he's experiencing, you know, with this whole, he was connected with the Shooter in Dallas campaign that the media decided to create. And it's really interesting. I just want to drop something in. The brother's name was Micah Xavier. And what they decided to do is use his middle initial, which would then associate him with a group of people that, you know, that end their names with X, right? So now he's Micah X, not Micah Xavier. And, you know, they really, it's really good. It's really good what they do in order to spin the story in a direction that they want to spin it in so that they can get the outcome that they want. But, again, this is the Not On My Watch show here on the eLife Media Network. And we are joined by yet another guest who is got some really colorful things to not only show us, because she's so colorful, but to talk to us about. And we are talking to Sister AfroVelvelt and Brother Asani, you know. So we just got a whole lot of AfroVelvelt, Brother Asani, and Sister AfroVelvelt. What's up? What you got?
Hey.
We're glad you made it.
I'm
We're glad you made it
as well.
Yeah, great. So tell us about yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm from Washington, D.C., born and raised in Southeast.
Another Washington, D.C.ite. You know, it's not many of us that are still left here.
Yeah, no.
And most of us that are here now are from somewhere else.
Exactly. It's pretty crazy. But we do have a small community left, and it's really inspiring that those are the people that I work with, and, you know, that we are trying to come together to do something greater in this city. I'm a designer, fashion designer, and stylist.
Okay.
But my business, AfroVelvelt, is much larger than that. I focus on, I guess, promoting Black women and men through fashion as far as the beauty aspect goes, and the image goes, as far as like creating our own image. However, I think it extends far beyond that as far as a movement, because I would like to uplift and create an image for us that is created by us. Okay.
So AfroVelvelt is your name, but it's also kind of your business and what you do. Yes, it's my brand. It's your brand. Mm-hmm. That's what's up. That's what's up. And that's the mission of AfroVelvelt, right?
Yes.
Okay. And in fashion design, what type of fashion?
It ranges. Honestly, it's whatever God gives me to
Clothing
create.
We're talking about?
Clothing,
okay.
Jewelry.
Okay.
I'm working now on creating jewelry from natural elements, so
that's what's up.
Flowers and tree leaves, things like that, and passing them out to the Black community.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think this, or what role do you think this plays in, you know, the development of the self-worth and this whole Black Lives Matter concept? How does all of this play into that?
Well,
or does it?
Yeah,
okay.
It definitely does.
Mm-hmm.
I think that so long we've accepted an image of ourselves that has been created by this world, by a society that we were not from.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm encouraging our community to go back to our roots, to go back to embracing the fact that we were one with nature, we were one with this earth, and I guess uprooting ourselves from there.
Okay, that's what's up. And you're also in the entertainment space, right?
Yes.
Okay. What do you do there?
So I'm a singer.
A singer. Okay. You got to be careful, you know, because you say you're a singer here in this studio. We might have to take a station break. We have you up there on our sound stage.
Next to a national booking agent, too.
There it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You just don't know. You don't
I didn't know that.
Right.
No
you know. So, you know, the next question is, are you ready?
I'm always ready.
That's what's up. That's what's up. We're going to put you to the test.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's good. And you're So you're a singer, you're entertainer, and also you're
Yes.
into theater, right?
Yes, I am into theater. That was actually one of the first things that I got into when I
Okay.
was in my younger years in high school, elementary school.
I was
middle
about to
school.
say younger years.
Yeah,
Brother
yeah, yeah.
Asani. She's like
I'm
you.
so really young.
Granted, my youngest
Like
years-
19. I'm 19, but when I was younger, like,
Youngest.
what do you mean when you was younger?
when you were in the womb,
When I was
in the
15,
fetal
right.
position, I remember that.
Right. So
Yes.
come on, when you were younger, you were,
I'm sorry.
a producer, director, actress.
Yes, I was in
okay.
musical theater,
Mhm.
all of that. So behind the stage, in front, on the stage, all of that was my love because I love the performing arts and I love to be able to, I guess, be in front of a crowd and portray who I am. I think that's a wonderful thing and it's always really fun.
Okay, that's good. That's good. You doing anything in the area?
Yes. Well, right now, I work with a few different bands, a few different communities in DC. But right now, we kind of work out of the Adinkra Arts Center
Sure.
in Mount Rainier. I guess it's not really DC, but it's right outside of DC.
Right, right.
And we do different like open mic things there
Okay.
where all of the singers in the community, all of the rappers and producers, they kind of come and share the space and just create a wonderful, I guess, piece all together.
Right.
And then right now I'm working with a band right now, so hopefully we'll be airing soon.
That's what's
Name
up.
of the
Yeah,
band.
soon. Say it again?
What's the name of the band?
The albums with
albums.
a Z at the end.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Not On My Watch show. And as he has already done, introducing himself, Brother Asani, he's in everything. You know, he's a historian, he's a griot, he's a genealogist, he's a music and talent producer and promoter, and he's connected with hundreds of other people in the theater.
Businesses, okay?
And right. I'm just looking at your resume
and I
here.
have
And
a spot for you.
Okay.
And that creative element we did talk about, serious, it could happen this weekend and moving
Okay.
forward.
yeah.
That's what it's about, blessing the family.
Yes, it is.
So I'm telling you on the real, that's exactly what I'm looking to facilitate.
Awesome.
Real music, meaningful music. The name of my record label is Proverbial Soul
Okay.
Music. Music with meaning, like the book of Proverbs.
Mhm.
And so we're looking to put that, instill them positive messages, because if they can put negative messages out, we can put positive ones out. We got symbols for them too. Okay?
That's what's up.
Thank you.
And Brother Asani, you mentioned something earlier. You touched on it. I want to go into it a little deeper. That the meaning of words, and I even want to go to the meaning of sounds, because sounds have meaning.
A lot of people don't know that.
And it's like I could say duck, and you would probably like look for a duck, like he must see a duck. Or I could scream duck, and you would be ready, like what's
That's
coming.
the one I'm used to.
Right, right. But their sound, the sound is the same. The energy is different, which causes then the meaning to be different. You know, of course, in this crazy English language that we happen to have learned because of our proximity to this
Borrowed language, you mean,
yeah,
from everywhere else.
or something like that.
Yeah, lacking creativity.
So talk to us about the meaning of words and the significance.
Well, words are composed of sounds.
Yep.
Sounds are composed of certain notes. And now, I'm not going to take for granted that everybody knows that, but certain frequencies through those notes have, we can't say medicinal, but spiritual and, what's the word, Doc? Can I say health?
Okay.
Connections?
Sure.
You know, so invoking certain notes causes a response from the body of water, which is you, 97% water. Water has a memory, so what frequency you subject your body to is how your body resonates. So being a DJ, I explain to people that whole process, that when you come in 9-10 o'clock, that DJ has power and control over you by the music that he plays. Light and color has meaning and has an effect on you. So we control the lighting and the sound. And when we get you prepared, we deliver a message. That message is important because it reaches into your subconscious. Now, I didn't want to go here, but I want people to look up something called 21 points of mind control used by the CIA. Look it up. Google it now. Take it to church with you on Sunday. And match that up with the order of service. There's absolutely points of mind control on how they program you to get you to concentrate, to get you to feel guilty, they get you to give up your money and offering, a sacrifice, and they deliver a message. And they put you back in a meditative state, like a hypnosis that said, when I snap my fingers, you're not going to remember none of this. Mm-hmm. But it's in your subconscious. Mm-hmm. You have a message. So it's powerful about the music that you hear. Too much low end or bass is destructive to your cells.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Too high of a frequency is destructive just the same. Things that you can't hear inaudible causes hearing damage, you know. And knowing that how you hear and how you eat and what you taste is connected to that hair that you're dyeing. The hair that I'm losing, in other words. When that hair turns gray, you lose that energy that's there. But that is like your frequency antenna that connects itself to your pineal gland. And that's radiation, that's antenna, that's power emanating. So when you do damage to that, well, those who are like me, and you know who you are, it damages your ability to connect with everything. Mm-hmm. And so if you can control people's music and you can put in things into the music being produced, you can effectively control a population of people.
Right.
Or destroy them.
Mm-hmm. Right. And we see it taking place. We see it taking place and not only in the music industry, but just the entertainment industry across the board, mm-hmm. and in the information industry across the board. And we see it also, of course, in the food industry, mm-hmm. yeah. And what where we're supposed to be getting in all 3 or 4 or however many of those areas, we're supposed to be getting substance that's going to better us. We're getting substance that is toxifying us, mm-hmm. And it's an interesting concept, you know, that I have, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who has it. But what I've recognized is all the things that are right. And this is conditioning. So we've been conditioned now that all the things that are right are repulsive. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They're repulsive. The right kind of relationship is repulsive. The right food is repulsive. The right kind of way to conduct yourself is the right kind of music. The right type mm-hmm. of television programming we should look is repulsive. You know, you can go down the list. Like how was it so, or when did they start, and how could they be, whoever they are, right? How could they be so effective at causing us to reject all of that which could benefit us, mm-hmm. and embrace all of that which destroys us? Yeah. That's such an effective method for destroying a people, that now the everything that is right is repulsive, and now what makes you feel good is right. But what makes you feel good, again, has been adulterated by what you see on television and listen to on your programming, wherever you get programmed at. And you find us, we look up today and something has gone severely wrong. And it's one thing to say it's a stereotype. It's a whole nother, you know, conversation when you're looking at something and you realize that, this is happening now. You know, we're not talking about a stereotype. We're not talking about people, you know, trying to make us think that this is how we are. No, this is how we have become. And now that we have become this, Sister AfroVelvelt, how do we begin that re-education, that migration out from where we don't want to be, but seemingly embrace into the space that we need to be, but are repulsed by it?
Well, I found that it's crazy, but it's a lot easier when you first appeal to people's egos. When you appeal to the side of the nature side of them that they enjoy first.
Okay.
And then once they're kind of, I guess, warm to you, that's when you start to shift the message. That's kind of actually how I operate. So most of the models that I have in my agency, like I approach them on the street. They might be, it might be a black guy who's never been to the National Mall, mm-hmm. and who's never explored DC outside of Southeast. Mm-hmm. And I might approach him and say, yo, you look cool. Your style is different from everybody I've seen. And, just start talking to him about, the things that he likes, the shoes that he buys, the Jordans, whether or not I agree with the fact that he bought those Jordans or not. And next thing I know, he's on the side where I'm bringing him inside of my community, and he's seeing a whole different world. And then he's starting to think about the world that he lives in, the life that he lives. And then he starts to ask questions. So I think that the best way, honestly, is to appeal to people where they are. Because if you come at people with, all of this knowledge that they don't really agree with, the first thing that they're going to do is turn you away.
Right.
So rejection, controversy.
Yeah.
The truth that they don't know, that they haven't heard.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think it has to be strategic.
Yeah.
We can't just, like you said, you can't just blatantly put it in their face, what you're doing is wrong, stop doing it. Because if it was that easy, we would have everything fixed. And again, how we have become sickened is, this is, again, me thinking about the strategies that have been used against us. Our culture was taken away from us. It was repackaged. The things that really strengthened us and helped us and supported us were removed out of it. Then a virus was inserted in, and then it was given back to us. So now we have this culture that we embrace. It's ours because we're the only ones doing it, but it's causing us to be sick. It's damaging the culture itself is damaging our culture, and our culture is destroying our quality of life. And somewhere or another that just can't be culture. That your culture is destroying you. So it's I see that everywhere. So I see that with regard to music, and we see that with regard to food. And Grandma used to tell us that there's a reason why I put those onions on your plate, and it wasn't about the taste. It was about something that you need because whatever you sniffling today, so we're going to give you these onions or this garlic, or we're going to give you whatever we're going to give you, and you're going to take this, and this food was your medicine. Now food has been repackaged. It's no longer medicine. Food is a good experience.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the good experience of eating food and not really concerned about the fact that it's damaging. It's been infected with the virus. So across the board, on television, it looked like us at first, but now it's kind of like the Surah and the Quran, where they have you look at the spider's web and you see the flies on the web, and you look up at this, and that looks like Joe. Well, that's Joe up there on the web, so the web must not be that bad. Let me go up there and check that out. And then you get up there and you realize that Joe doesn't have a soul anymore. As a matter of fact, Joe doesn't have any blood flowing through his veins anymore. He's there for you to make you think that it's okay to be there, but it ain't, because Joe ain't what he used to be. So I support and look forward to, as you're talking about the things that you're doing.
Well, Doc, if I may, my outlook on that is my favorite reference is a movie called Artificial Intelligence. See, this body of ours didn't come with a set of instructions written on it. And there's a scene in Artificial Intelligence. It's about a family that loses their son, so they try to go and get a so-called synthetic robot. And during the movie, their real son comes back on the scene, and he's being real cruel to, I can't even remember the gentleman's name, the little boy that said, I see dead people. I almost said I see white people, forgive me. But he was in the movie Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis, is the point. But he's being teased by this child that's come back in his life, and he wants his parents' attention back. And they're at a dinner table, and the people are eating food. Meanwhile, the robot is sitting there with nothing on his plate. And the bad son, I'll call him what he was, sticks his tongue out at the robot. And so the robot grabs some mashed potatoes and puts it in his mouth and swallow it. See, that robot didn't have instructions and didn't know you can't consume what these people consume. See? And further, even if we're eating so-called correct, some of us don't know how to eat properly. See? So if you have that drive-through mentality, you're washing off the digestive enzymes off your food because you're eating and drinking at the wrong time. Or you combining your food with something that it doesn't digest properly with. See, so we need to pull back and look at and examine everything that we lost when our foremothers, if you will, walked out of the forest, and what was lost. And when we knew what to eat, watch a bird or a deer walking outside. They know exactly what to eat, and they have eating patterns.
Mm-hmm.
See, we lost that connection to nature itself.
Mm-hmm.
See, so when some of us were brought here in the 1800s, we still maintained that concept of what we eat, but what we had available to us wasn't the same. And when we say we lost everything, that is not correct, because we still eat some of the traditional dishes all the way across this planet. The diaspora of Africans, we still eat some of the same dishes.
Right.
You know, but we used what was available to us. So we had to discount that claim that we lost everything. We had people in our families, storytellers or griots, that passed down stories. That doesn't apply to everybody, but we accepted the cover story that it was everybody. See, they kept us from reading and writing because they didn't want us to know who we really are. But look in the legislature of South Carolina to see if they don't define what a Negro is.
Mm-hmm.
A land traveler, we like to call him a gypsy. We used to follow our food just like all other animals did.
Right.
See,
Right.
that black woman decided, listen, one day the sister said, I'm not going all the way out there to find no fruits and vegetables. I'm going to grow them right outside of our house so we can stop them just running around.
Mm-hmm.
So credit to the sisters, the black woman, for creating modern agriculture, or the example of modern agriculture, which has unfortunately turned to a science lab outside.
Mm-hmm.
But we had those original concepts. When they did bring people over, they brought specialists in what they do. So even when my great-grandmother Mady said we were brought over here through Barbados, those was the guys that knew how to build irrigation systems for tobacco and for rice.
Mm-hmm.
So we had skilled laborers. But we have only forgotten in some cases because we have not looked. We have not asked. You haven't gone to that elder in the family and asked questions, at least somewhere to start and study where your people were. But if you accept somebody's definition and story of you, you accept anything because your enemy is telling you a story and defining you for you. And they're corrupting your food. So we first need to start growing our own food, then we have control over it. Mm-hmm. So if a black farmer who I'm looking to work with business-wise gets involved and supplies their community, then we all eat better.
Right.
And we don't relinquish control to those who don't value black lives.
Right, right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And we're right here on the eLife Media Network. This is the Not On My Watch show. I'm Dr. Baruch. We're talking to Sister AfroVelvelt and Brother Asani. And we're going to be right back with more of the Not On My Watch show. You all stay tuned.
Sound like we should have a lotion.
All right, we're back on the Not On My Watch show, and we've got a surprise. Like I said earlier, Sister AfroVelvelt, you know, we're not going to say made the mistake. We're going to say she appropriately marketed. She appropriately marketed herself, and she is now going to bless us with some of that AfroVelvelt energy. Sister AfroVelvelt right here in the E-Life Media Studios. Introduce it first. What you got for us?
Okay, so this song is called Fly Away.
Fly Away?
Yes.
That's what's up.
Make sure you hear it,
Go ahead.
Better to believe in love than religion. Better to commit my love like traditions. Baby, what we have is magical. Watched us turn to pixie dust gratification. I'd fly away, levitate, imagine if in a love we prayed. Oh, baby, fascinated moonlight's your room, my playground. Lie on carpets, whole new world in our eyes now. Maybe if we value this pot of gold, we'd make eternal summer soul elation. I found someone who loves me unbalanced, someone who doesn't mistake my self-love for conceit, someone who kisses my cheek a little too much. I found someone who I look at when he's unsuspecting, someone who's self-reflecting, someone who brushes my hair up with his fingertips when the wind disrupts my cool, someone who I plan to rendezvous with. Love sometimes presents itself a myth, but as every day passes, I'm learning I'm living with him. Someone I just thought to be a friend is also my everything, and as I watch his late mother's earring dangle from his ear touching the beginning of his jawline, I exclaim, "You're fine. I think you're mine." Find my fingers interlocking with someone who kisses my cheek a little too much, and I sink into the gentle rush that consumes my consciousness, that feeling I think they call love. I'll fly away, levitate, imagine if in a love we prayed. Oh, baby.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Thank you, AfroVelvelt. You are indeed talented. And I'm thankful that you would be so inclined and courageous, even though it didn't seem like it took a lot of courage when you got skill and capability.
I said
like
I wasn't going to cry.
Again, this is the Not On My Watch show as we put ourselves back together here. This is the Not On My Watch show here on the E-Life Media Network. And I just want to go over a couple of things while we got your attention. You are invited to a celebration of life for Brother Kwaku Davis. Many of you all have been to the Blue Nile herb and bookstore. Mm-hmm. Blue Nile has been a part of our community ever since I can remember. Mm-hmm. The community honors Brother Kwaku on Sunday, August the 7th, 2016. He was a teacher, a gardener, a drummer, jeweler, father, son, brother, friend, and gentle, humble servant of the people. There's one thing that I didn't see in this is that he was a warrior. Brother was a warrior. And you had to have those quiet moments with him. You know, when I was down on Georgia Avenue with my business, you know, you had that quiet moment and he talks to you about what motivates him and his drive. And you say, you know, yeah, you quiet, you humble, but you're like that peaceful as a dove, but yet cunning as a fox spirit. This is all going to be taking place at the Thurgood Marshall Center, 1816 12th Street Northwest in Washington, D.C. And that, again, is on Sunday, August the 7th, 2016, from 3 to 7 p.m. The community honors Brother Kwaku. Yeah. I don't know whether you all know Brother Kwaku. Did you all get an opportunity, the pleasure to meet him?
With a ton of bricks. Oh, man. Peace and blessings to his family.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and everybody, wow, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Brother Kwaku was indeed a pillar in our community. He's a pillar. And, yeah. So it's something that we want to do. We want to celebrate, the great life of Brother Kwaku. So we're back. Sister AfroVelvelt, I'm sorry to take that wonderful, colorful, beautiful energy that you come with.
We should let her go second after that.
You mean she's got to go back up to give us some other energy? Don't challenge me. Don't challenge me.
When I said I wasn't gonna cry, wow.
Right. I hit you with a double dose, huh?
Yeah. To bring a brother down, but that was a good brother, and I enjoyed going in there, and you just all them times you took for granted, brother.
Oh yeah, brother.
All that healing going on.
No, we got to take advantage of it while it's here, you know. So again, I'm thankful. Where I want to go in our show going forward is, first off, I want to thank you again, Sister AfroVelvelt, for the expression of energy, singing and poetry and all of that. I want to ask a question, because while Brother Man was over here getting sentimental while you were doing your thing.
Oh, no, she was like
How
that.
do you do that? How do you perform in front of an audience where people don't think you're talking to them? Because I'm over here looking and I'm like, wait a minute, she just looked at me. Does that mean, ain't but two people you could look at, right? Three people, including the engineer. We got Reg up in there, so you got to look at somebody. Otherwise, you're looking
at nothing.
You're looking. I'm like, was that for me? Were you talking to me?
What'd you say about
how does that
kisses?
work? Right. Too much kisses, right?
He getting sentimental. Right.
How does that work that you do that and people don't all of a sudden, come up and say, I found you?
I don't think that prevents people from doing that.
Is that the motivation? Some people get up on stage because they're like, I used to work with a comedian, and in his comedy, he would say, some of y'all just need to, y'all need to be all right with approaching a comedian maybe. And, just telling the comedian, I love you and I want to be with you. Mm-hmm. And no. And he and I would laugh about it. I said, I was about to say his name, but I would say, Brother Man, you out here marketing. He said, yeah, and it works every single time. So I'm not going to suspect that you were marketing. I'm just going to ask you my question again. How does that work that people don't then fall in love with you behind what it is that you're saying, because you tend to express something that touches them and makes them then connect with you, and you don't even know that they're there, although you've connected with them, right? Mm-hmm. How does that happen? How does that work? How do you navigate through that? How do you tell them, no, I'm sorry, but my king is on the other side of the room. And everybody all of a sudden packs up and they don't want an autograph anymore. They just roll out and never mind, forget it. How does that work?
Well, I think when you...
Wait, don't answer that. Speaking as our agent,
there you go.
You never reveal the man behind the scenes if there is one.
Right.
Because every man needs to have that perception that you're talking to him. So he said it, but he dug the hole. And so that's a piece of yourself that you don't give up.
There you go.
Of course, if somebody oversteps their boundaries, and that big 400-pound muscular guy that I'm sure that's looking around. If
he's 400 pounds, there's a chance there's a little bit more than muscle going on. But go ahead, I got your point.
Big enough so you can say, listen, I can't pick up a house and throw
I'm 230 pounds, just so you know. Okay, there you go.
Okay, see? Okay, I'm 230 pounds. But anyway. But it's certain things that you want to keep that mystique about yourself. We just lost the brother Prince. And, up to the end, he started to reveal more, but you still don't know everything about that brother, and that's what keeps you a hot topic.
Sure.
So as somebody in the business, I'm saying no. Don't give away what we can sell.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But she's a healer, and she's of the community and in the community, and she's a part of us as an expression. Yes, she's a talent and is worthy of her pay, right? But also as a part of a community that is hurting and a part of a community that is failing miserably in certain areas. You know, how do you not accept the fact that, okay, I have to not just do this from the stage, but I'm also a part of their reality, you know. And you then communicate what's in your heart and what's in your mind and what you want and what you desire, and not then connect with others that are there in the audience who just want to stand up. And you know how sometimes you'll be performing and there'll just be that one person that'll just stand up because you didn't hit a note or you said something, and they just gonna stand up for the rest of the time, no matter how many times the person behind it said, I can't see, you know, they're just gonna stand up because they've connected, you know. And that connection is sometimes, I mean, I'm sure there are a whole lot of connections that have lasted a good minute, right?
Yeah.
But and then in other instances, they're just that fleeting moment.
Well, that's the.
Yeah, I think if it's enough for someone to approach you, I think it was meant to happen.
Sure.
And you never know how you are supposed to touch somebody. It might start off as one thing, as far as like, you know, them coming to you with one motive.
Right.
But that motive might shift if, you know, they figure out the reason for why they approached you.
Right.
And I think that's the main thing that I like to keep in mind is like what you said. I do consider myself a healer. I consider myself a mother. Like, I'm not a mother yet, but like, you know, of the community, I consider myself having sons and daughters, and I'm young, but I think that it's a mindset more than it is a age thing or anything like that. It's how you reach people and where you reach them at. So I understand what you're saying, and I've actually approached musicians or anything who've touched me with that same I guess motive, but then something might have changed later down the road, and I understood why it was that I approached them. So I think that there's a reason why that they're drawn.
Okay, that's what's up.
There's a reason why there's a barrier to true meaningful music in the industry because of that power of people to connect to it and grasp it and even manage their lives by certain things that are being passed through. That was a song that just reached, and you know, I gotta give it to this sister. Y'all should give it up. Where can they reach you? Can I ask that question? Get away from me.
Can I run my show?
I'm sorry.
Can I run my show? You know, Brother Man already told me, he's like, I'm accustomed to sitting over there where you are. You know, now he's
what
like,
happens when you get two producers in the room.
right.
I
But we're gonna get to all
Are
of
you
that.
sure you want to do this to yourself?
Right. We're gonna get to all of that communicative
Watch him ask now.
information.
Here's the pressure.
No, I wouldn't do that. You know, I'm from Southeast, brother.
Yeah, don't mess up.
One of my favorite comedians says, I'm from Southeast Maryland.
Oh, okay.
How about that?
Okay. It's a little. We got a little bit of savvy, a little swag to us, right?
Yeah.
But I think the industry is in need of a mother, and in your case, you know, for a sister and a daughter, you know, because we're looking behind us and we're seeing that there's a lot of destruction that we see. You know, you turn on to a couple of stations on the dial and you can be like, whoa, are they really letting this come across the airwaves? So again, you know, I talk about the repulsiveness of what is good. You know, it's like when I tell somebody, you know, come and we're going to have a health lecture. What? That's the last thing I want to do is come and be a part of some health lecture. You know, but they say all the right things in them, out their mouth, but in their mind, they're like, you know, and I think the same thing is, you know, when you listen to your music, people are accustomed to that, you know, and it's not that the drum and the bass are not a part of our, you know, culture, but again, it's been repackaged and now infected, and now it gets given back to us, and it's just doesn't have the same energy, the same vibe, you know. So how do you connect up with the audience? Who is your audience, and how do you connect up with that audience and cause that audience then to, you know, grow and expand even though you know that when they get in their car, they're probably tuned into something, or maybe not, but they could be tuned into something that's going to cause them to all of a sudden recalibrate to a whole nother frequency. How do you bring somebody into this space and then nurture this whole nother energy field and get them to say, yeah, I want that CD?
I think that I'm not perfect. I have insecurities. I have things that I have to work on as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's that half and half. I think that on a certain level, my audience is young people like me who might be insecure, who might not know where their life is headed, who might, sometimes lay in bed and be depressed all day, mm-hmm. and, not believe in what they're doing. And then the next day get up and find some source of inspiration, mm-hmm. and attack that. I think that, honestly, I just think that people are my audience because that is our nature. That is, who we are at the core. We are these people who are, sometimes insecure, sometimes confident, and, we're always seeking betterment of ourselves in some way. So that's the kind of, I guess, road that my music goes on. Mm-hmm. I don't choose to lie or to put up a facade of something that isn't me. I think that my music is completely and utterly who I am. Mm. And so that reaches to people because it's honest, and people love honesty. I mean, like, people, it's like they feed, sometimes some people feed off of honesty because it feeds their their souls in a good way, and some people might use it and like, oh, okay, I thought she was this, but they don't even know how my music is reaching them. And later on it might become, oh my gosh, like, you really made me think about a few things, made me change in this way, or whatever. And so I just think that, like, honestly, just people who are ready for understanding themselves, people who are at least in some way seeking, that's who my audience is. That's what's up.
Brother Asani. So you say that this is a kind of a talent and a culture and an energy that you see working with some future projects that you have coming down the road, huh?
When she was up there performing, I was making a beat in my head.
There you go.
Serious. Yeah, it's like that. That's why I want to assemble, creative element. And not to put you on the spot, I wanted to bring it right here to Everlasting Life, because this should be the center of a community. It should be the social gathering point that we have. I know we don't live in no big city, but I came up here yesterday just to socialize. I called it a barbershop.
Right.
The same effect, but you got positive people here, mm-hmm. and like minds who are trying to become who they are becoming. Mm-hmm. And so me and you, brother, sat down and we talked about giving people a platform and making it available, because I remember when we talk about real music back in the 80s, okay, I'm 34 still, but I had to dig for it. I had to stay up in the middle of the night to get that reel to bring out on the boombox. Mm-hmm. I always had to dig. So now we have this medium, this leveling playing ground called the internet. And if you really like the so-called real, that artist that you like from back in the day has no excuse not to have a studio and not to be providing his fans or her fans with music that they can vibe with. Right. And so now that we're into a live situation where record sales depend on your performance up on that stage, we need to support our own and give. I'm just wondering what the crew is like when you bring all that talent into one room. Mm-hmm. And that should be right here. This should be our base. Right. With a successful brother like yourself. That's why I'm here, to vibe. And like I said earlier, I came here to be healed. Right. Mentally. And when you look at this video, look at the one next year.
There you go.
And I should be getting a smile from the doctor instead of little jokes and shots. You're not drinking enough water.
That's called encouragement.
I think of him when I open the refrigerator.
Right. That's what I want you to do.
What else did you eat? Uh-huh. But my body is eating me, brother.
Yeah, that's on what's the real.
But back to the talent is that we need to highlight and give that option available for the real, you know.
Right.
And
Well, we have to create. You have to not only. There's several parts to this. You know, AfroVelvelt has the talent. You know, you've got the industry experience. I've got the location. The big deal always seems to be the audience. You know, how do we get the audience then, and make the audience understand that, okay, when we get 200 people in the room, that's 200 people that now have given us the wherewithal to divide the spoils of victory, if you want to call it that, or the reward of all of this. We're able to divide that and now expand and grow what it is that we're doing. You know, too many times where, you know, I don't know, we don't feel the responsibility and obligation to support the good things that are taking place. And I'm reminded by my own expression, the fact that, you know, there's a repulsiveness associated with that which is positive and good. And so we have to now take the power to define and redefine what is good and what is positive and what is beneficial and what we should be pursuing after. And I want to go into culture for a minute before we go to another station break. I want to go into culture. We might be able to get it. We might not. I want to talk about the...
Good. I wanted to talk about culture. Let's go.
We're gonna call this the Brother Asani show with Dr. Baruch. You know, it's like the Johnny Carson show. The Johnny Carson show with the Ed McMahon.
You just call me Ed McMahon on my air, for real? Go ahead. You want to buy
there you go.
Some magazines while you're at it?
But right, do you want to, you know, what is that? You want to win this $1,000 or whatever that was. But anyway, sister, I knew it wasn't going to take us a little longer than I thought to get to this question, and that's the answer. But Sister AfroVelvelt, you have, your face has, would we call it makeup? What would we call it? And then what is that? In that, how do we define it? And, you know, tell us what that is so we understand.
My face, yes, it has eye paint on it, but not in the traditional manner.
Sure.
That America would use eye paint. Yesterday I had clay.
Okay. That's what's up.
Yeah, it was on completely half of my face. And
where's the picture?
I have it on my phone.
Okay, we'll check it.
So I am starting a movement because, like I said, we used to be one with nature. That honestly, like, our people are at the foundation of this world. The intelligence, the art, the entertainment, even power, even government. We, you know, like, we started out really as the foundation and as a strength. Right. And I think somewhere along the way we lost that because of our situations as far as slavery goes, all of that. But also because we failed to continue the education within our community and circulating the strength. I think that, you know, this is basically me taking that back. And I'm starting a movement. I'm calling it Tribe. And so far, so many people want to be a part of it. I mean, I literally was biking down the street with my friend yesterday. He had his face painted. I had my face painted. And we got stopped by a van that does interviews. And he was just like, I need to interview you guys. What is this about? And, you know, I've gone different places. Even some African people are asking me, where are you from? What is this? What are you doing? And
where are you from?
Yeah, and I'm like, well, you know, I'm from D.C. as far as I know, you know.
Right.
But I know that my ancestors are from, you know, the earth. I know that this is where...
Good answer. I like that.
Right.
That's where they found their power and their strength. And so I'm trying to get us back to that. So many people have agreed that they are going to start painting their faces. Like I said, I'm making these ornaments, jewelry out of flowers, things like that. Okay. And I want people to look up the Omo Valley people, OMO, the tribes there, the Mercy and the Surma. Basically, that's where I'm gaining my inspiration and my my, I guess, just reading up on them and understanding what they do and how honestly it's not something that's thought about. It's something that comes natural to them, and people don't understand it. I look at their images and I literally cry because they're so beautiful, and they don't use mirrors. They didn't even know about mirrors for the longest time. This is something that came naturally to them.
Yeah.
And it looks like a masterpiece.
Wow.
So honestly, like, we just have to embrace that about ourselves again. We are all masterpieces. We are all from the earth, and we're all one with the earth. And we have to find our way back there.
That's what's up. This is the Not On My Watch show here on the E-Life Media Network. We're going to take a station break for just a minute. We'll be right back with more great programming as we're interviewing Brother Asani and Sister AfroVelvelt. are back on the Not On My Watch show. I'm Dr. Baruch, and this has been, as always, it's always an enlightening show, an empowering show. And I'm having this vision, and I'm going to share this vision that I'm thinking that we should probably go out with some AfroVelvelt at the end of the show. I'm just having this vision. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't even know who is AfroVelvelt. I'm just feeling this energy. It's coming to me. Just give me this minute, and it's, yeah. But let me jump back in. Let me get back in to the studio. Come out from the cosmos. We are here with Brother Asani and Sister AfroVelvelt. And we are talking about everything. There's nothing we haven't talked about, right?
Right.
But we did kind of touch on what we have to do and where we see our need on this road to recovery, where we see the need for our work. And Brother Asani, you kind of highlighted and talked about that earlier, but you had something in response to Sister AfroVelvet's commentary or her entertainment or her energy. Go. Your turn.
First, I'd like to thank you one more time for having me down, and it's been a pleasure to meet the sister here. I got to talk from a professional standpoint as a national booking agent. So I always try to inform artists that you have to look the part. When I first encounter you, something about you needs to say, I'm into something. I should be able to tell that you're a singer or you're a poet. So when I met the sister today, we were coming to the door at the same time, and I kind of was taken back, and I said, she's dressed in character for what she do. So immediately I knew that she did something creative, but then blown away by hearing her. Now I recall I was out with a local comedian here with a big head. I'm not going to throw any names out there. Big head. But I stepped into the bathroom. I had a suit on. I came out to scout some talent. And the comedian stepped in. He said, "Oh, you wearing suits now?" And I said, "Yeah, I got a suit on." But then he watched me go sit in the VIP in the front. Later on, he said, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were an agent. I said, "I'm dressing my part. How come I didn't know you were a comedian?" See, play your position. And this sister hit it right off, and the look matches what I heard. So big shout outs to the sister here. But if you're seeing this, you're seeing an example of what an artist is. You're seeing an example of meaningful representation that matches with her personality. So all you watching and you are wondering what to do and how to do it, take note. And I just wanted to give the sister her props in real time.
Thank you.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And I have another question for you, Brother Asani, that as you have been in the industry for a while, you watched it change. Mm-hmm. You watched things change from the 80s to now, 70s to now, 60s even to now. I know you're only 24, but
I watched a lot of video footage.
You do. You saw a lot of Soul Train reruns. Even I saw you on Soul Train, but it was like they put you back in. Yeah, they put you back in retrospect, right? That what happened in the industry? What happened that caused the hip hop, not reggae, but the hip hop and the rap industry to be derailed to the point now where it is, it has, in some instances, we're seeing, bright spots, but what happened?
Good question, and I'm glad you asked that. I look at it as in the 80s, we were introduced to the Cosby Show, a positive image of a black family doing positive things. All right? Number one show in the business for years running. I believe it was about 8 seasons, despite what Mr. Cosby is now. But
we don't know what Cosby is now, because if you want to believe what they say,
I can't do that because,
right? That's what's up.
But that example of that positive black family was flipped when they came out with Married with Children. see the direct opposite with a white family who had, almost redneck family to counter that and garner attention away from that positive black image. When we had positive rap in the early 80s on the West Coast, it was meant to now give light and perspective to another type of lifestyle and out in the West, which was gang activity. And it was focused on money instead of a positive message to build our people. But behind the scenes is who's in control. You know, what can they sell? So after we have positive, now we are, not we, but now we've been attacked by certain vices, addictions. So if you have a public that's addicted to sex, you take sex out of its proper context. And when you do that, it's called abuse, or, you're addicted to it now. So we exploit that portion when we take away, some of the things that the women are doing in the videos were part of rituals, but you detracted from that meaning and you abused it. When you add drugs and alcohol to a situation, if you drink anything in its excess, drugs weren't meant for leisure activity. They were meant to heal you. And let me say, watch that with drugs, but certain herbs were meant to heal you. But when you take it out of its context, it's distorted. And when you take too much and consume something too much of something good becomes addictive, and you lose balance. So I present to you, it's always been, he that holds the gold makes the rules. And they have used that to cater to not so much negative things, but to areas that they want to highlight and focus on to take us away from powerful and spiritual music or art that could make a difference in our life. Hip hop, that's my love. I've been around since day one. Played Fatback Band on my little Fisher Price. But it was about peace, unity, love, and having fun at one point. The dancing was about resolving gang conflicts at one point. But exploited and giving light to those that just want to party all the time, that has its place. But they segmented and focused on a particular market instead of making available, as we said earlier, all music. It's there, you have to dig for it. In the record store, you have to go through all the CDs and all the records to find what you want. You still have to do the same thing now. You can reject negative images just by turning the TV off, just by making better choices, or sitting with your children, for example, and explaining what they're seeing, But now, if I can go further and walk on a ledge of danger, first of all, we need to stop them from educating our kids. Malcolm X said, a fool lets his enemy educate his children. And that's what we're subjecting our kids to, because we're too busy to have a hand in their upbringing. So we need to take control back over our children and our families and let them learn, let them go to the schools, but teach them to place themselves inside of what they're learning. And when you hear the nonsense, a child will reject that like a bowl of spinach or Gerber spinach when they were a kid. But we have to equip our children.
Bad example for a guy who sells spinach every day and people lap it up like it's.
Well, it's not Gerber. I
understand.
Gerber.
I understand your point. I just thought I'd throw that in there.
Brother, you can't get out right now. I'll just sit. Anyway.
There is a back door.
But bad example. But I hope the point was
like a bowl of chitlins.
Oh God. Anyway,
yeah.
Don't reach and get me emotional in here about chitlins. My stomach is hurting. I'm about to cry again.
I don't want to find out that you're crying because you want some, though. I just want to make sure, not that you would have ever eaten.
Dr. Baruch, restaurant owner and comedian. I'm going to manage him, and I'm going to manage this lady right here.
There you go.
My point was, if you give something with a bitter taste or sour taste, it's likely to be rejected. So we need to speak highly of what we're doing in a positive manner and just as aggressively as that nonsense that's out there.
Right.
And those that are seeking enlightenment can seek it.
Right.
But some are going to be consumed with vices, with drugs, with alcohol, with sex. But it takes them to acknowledge that, hey, I'm addicted, I got a problem. And giving them the real thing, the pure glass of water, they can make a distinction. They have a choice. And they don't have to be subjected to just what's being targeted and placed in their path.
And I think you have to also be mindful all of the players. Now, you have to be mindful. There's a sponsor, there's an audience, there's the talent, there's the there's the overhead, all the overhead that includes even yourself and others who are in that industry. You all represent overhead, because if you really get down to the core thing, you just need the talent, the building, and the audience, and maybe at some point not even the building, just the talent and the audience, because those two together could feed each other and support what it is that they're trying to make happen. But what has happened is somehow or another all of those things are not lined up like they should be, and they seem to be in other, you look on television and you see some audiences for people performing, doing stuff that is not of any benefit to us. And, they fill up a room. Everybody walks away, happier, and if we could just create the paradigm, we could create the paradigm shift and create that new platform where people now know, okay, this is what you're going to get here. This is why you want to come here. This is why you want to pay this money to come here. This is why you want to come here to perform, because you're going to be able to be exposed to these people and get rewarded for what it is that you do. And we create that where it automatically feeds itself, and it starts rolling. And it's almost like some of the places here in D.C. that you see that is just every night they're packed with people, because people just know already that we create that energy. And once you get that energy going, then it's not stoppable at that point. So we're going to be talking about that. We'll do that off the air, because otherwise we'd have another hour or two in this show. I just want to, give you all an opportunity to talk about, your inspiration and your vision. And we're going to then give you a chance to tell us how we would find you in the world, on the net, on your phone, and let's do that. Sister AfroVelvelt, what inspires you, and afterwards, how do we get in contact with you?
Well, our people inspire me. I think that my mom was my initial inspiration, because she was such a great example for me, and as a woman, as a creator, she does interior design, and she's the original fashionista.
There we go.
Actually, this is her dress. So,
okay. Moms gets props. Yes.
Waiting on you.
She gets the props. Originally that was my main person that I looked up to every day. And I still look up to her. So, that's where I took it and I ran with it, because, she didn't get to finish it. But she always says I'm fulfilling the dream that she had, because she went to school. She went to Howard for fashion, but she didn't get to finish. So, I think that my main inspiration is my mom. But, moving along, my inspiration every day is seeing our people and, wanting to see us move to the next level.
That's what's up.
So people can find me at afrovelvet.com. So AFRO Velvet, like the material.com. And basically I'm working on a few things. So I'm working on coming out with a magazine. It's going to be called AfroVelvet. It's focused on all the Black artists in the community, on Black fashion and Black businesses. Any Black businesses who would like to be listed in the directory should contact me, and you can contact me through my website. And also, like I said, the movement that we're working on now is getting people to become a part of the tribe. And the last thing is we'll be in the paper this Thursday in the Washington Informer Bridge. And you can either go to the site and download the article, or you can pick up one of the papers. But we are also circulating images that basically help to empower our people and help others to see, what we're going through the image that we've created as creators. So, that's basically everything, I think.
That's what's up.
Yeah, and I would love to just say thank you so much to eLife and to you, Dr. Baruch, for being so wonderful and, reaching out and allowing me to be on your show, and just, this is wonderful what you do. So
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother Asani.
I'm gonna keep it brief. Everything what she said, I agree with. Contact her if you want to get in touch with me. No, I'm just kidding. Once again, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, except for the little shots you took. I'll deal with that all night while I'm lying awake.
It's called medicine, brother. It's medicine. Just like you said a minute
like the
ago.
spinach thing.
Yeah, like the chitlins. It's called, well, chitlins ain't medicine, though.
But you know what? It's just an honor for me to be on that level. I've been coming here for years, so I could take your shots. I appreciate even the fact that you remember a brother enough to even invite me to come sit down. So that's real. So now you get emotional and do what you need to do. Now, my passion is being of service to people, and the way I measure my success is by how much people are successful. So I'm more so in the entertainment services business, which could mean management, could mean finance, it could mean booking, it could just mean anything that you need to facilitate a show. But again, my passion and my mission is to be of service to my people, even on the business level, making sure that our businesses can compete in the corporate arena, by providing them a backbone of finances. How do you reach me? If you're spiritual, let's say asanimusa.com, ASANIMUSA.com. If you're in business, let's find capital, like the building, CAP, I can't spell, ITOL, creditgroup.com. So that's Ken at capitalcreditgroup.com. Send me an email. Reach out on LinkedIn, where business professionals should be. And I'd like to help you be successful in the business marketplace. More or less, not only starting business, but staying in business is what my concern with us. Passing that 9 month or break-even point. But again, KEN at CAPITOL credit group, all one word, .com. Send me an email. Look forward to meeting you. God bless everyone. And again, thank you for having me. And peace to the sister sitting next to me.
Peace to you.
Yeah, and this is, again, the Not On My Watch show, and our objective and goal and aim is to expose the world to us and us to the world. So this is our venue and our platform where we do what we do. And for those of you who might know of, or it might be you. It might be you that I need to talk to. You might come into the studio. You might want to sing on the sound stage here at the eLife Media Studios. But if that be your desire, then please get in contact with us. You can find us out on Facebook or all of the social media platforms. I got to stop using their names. I'm going to start just saying social media platforms. That way I can migrate and transition as I desire to move and get off of some and get on others. But anyway, you can find us there, and that's the eLife Media Group. You can find us there, and we would be more than happy to engage you and support you in your desires to do what you do, and also to help us further do what we do. It's been a great show, and I just want to thank both of my guests for coming on today. We'll be back next week with more great programming. Well, we'll be back right away with more great programming, but I'll be back next week with more great programming. Of course, first on Tuesdays with the Health Literacy Show. I have the Dr. Baruch Health Literacy Show, where I talk to you about health and wellness and what we have to do in order to achieve health and wellness, and what we're doing wrong to destroy our health. And then back with the Not On My Watch show on Wednesday. For those of you who want to get in contact with me personally, I'll give you my contact. I'm on Facebook, I'm on social media, and I'm Googleable, and there's a chance I might be one of the first or 2 or 3 when you Google me. As long as you Google my name, that's easy, right? It's Dr. Baruch, Baruch. My phone number is 330 Baruch1. That's 330-227-8241. It's been a pleasure, and prayerfully you've enjoyed it as much as I have. We'll be back next week with more great programming. Until then, stay blessed. Peace.